RugbyKE, we are back, bigger and better, even with a new co-host. Introducing to you,
Shujaa.
And me, Hello Matoke.
Today we are at RFUEA Grounds for the Kenyan Simbas versus UAE Test Match, as the Simbas prepare for the 2025 Rugby Africa Cup.
Hello, my name is Nico and I am representing the UAE rugby team in Dubai. It's a good experience. The weather is really good. It's cold and it's good weather to play rugby. Yeah, the Simbas, they have really good squads. We played well in the last two sessions, but in the last third game, we put a lot of pressure, but they played well with the ball and their fitness. I think that's the only thing we were lack with us in the UAE. The try comes from the team, yeah. It's all about the communication. So he kicked it over and the bounce was a miracle for me. So I had it and then I went over the try line. My name is Nico and you're watching RugbyKE. Kele!
My name is Derek Makori, non-dis rugby fan, also Kenya Simbas fan. The fun experience was beautiful, stupendous. We've enjoyed, even though the kickoff was at 3 p.m. early. You can still see the fans over here. Yeah, we have enjoyed us as fans. The game was nice, even though I came 10 minutes late. I found we played well. Not much of a kicking game so that people can work on their plays. Yeah, it was a good game. In Uganda, there are very tough fixtures. The teams have been preparing well. There is no underdog in that competition. So I'm sure our team will perform very well. My name is Derek Makori and you're watching RugbyKE.
My name is Bethel and I'm Mteshi, Kenya Simbas player. In France it has been good. I like the vibe around the people in France. I like them. And the culture and the exposure, I like everything about them. I'm very happy and just not being back to represent the national team, I'm very happy about it. For me, the game, I don't want to dwell much into the game because we're trying to work on our plays, we're trying to work on our set pieces. So right now we're trying to polish on everything and to see in terms of preparation where we are. So I'm happy, at least we have a game and it will help us get to know where we are and moving forward, what we need to polish and to rectify. Okay, it is still a work in progress going into South Africa, and it is we're getting into a high performance environment. So basically we're going to prepare for the game for the World Cup qualifiers coming in July. Okay, we don't want to dwell on one team because most of the teams that are coming, even Morocco, the newbies, guys have been preparing and we don't want to dwell on one team. We're going in expecting a fight from each team. My name is Bethel Mteshi, Kenya Simbas player. Guys, get to tune in to RugbyKE 27.
rugby is more than a sport. It's a platform that can be used for change.
Kenya Sevens forward Kevin Wekesa is using his influence for climate change through his Play Green initiative, connecting sports and sustainability.
To date, he estimates to have planted more than 1,000 trees in his initiative. We caught up with him to learn more.
Hi, my name is Kevin Wekesa, a player from Kabras Sugar Rugby and also doubles up for Kenya Shujaa team. The whole idea of playing green, I just wanted to make change in the society and have the future kids have something to play when they start playing. Yeah. So I just wanted to create an environment, a good environment, a better environment for those children who will come and start playing later in life. Yeah. So far I've made progress with my program. So basically what Play Green entails, it focuses on 4 main pillars, and the pillars are, the first one is education on climate change and environment. The second one is planting trees. Or number 3, we are ending single-use plastic among sports teams. And lastly, which we have not yet started, we're also introducing recycling. In terms of institutions, I've traveled to so many schools in Western. At first, we started with St. Andrew's Turi, where we just planted about 50 trees, and then the school collaborated and gave us more like 100 trees. And since Shujaa usually are friends of Turi were grateful to give us a whole forest and named it Shujaa Forest. That's how we started with the school. So St. Andrew's Turi was our pioneer school. In Western, St. Peter's Mumias, Vihiga School, Chavakali School. In Nairobi, we were planning to plant trees with Roslyn School, Merisho School, and just to name but a few. In a partnership and mentorship program with schools in Central, the Kabianga School, Kabare Boys, and Kianyaga School. For this year, I'm starting small. I just want to mainly educate the rugby community. I want the change to start from the rugby community as a leader in this campaign. So I've started with the Kenya Shujaa and the Kenya Leones. I'll definitely move to the clubs, starting with Kabras Sugar and then the rest of the Kenya Cup clubs. But I just want to start small. I want to start from the rugby community, and then we'll just be ambassadors of this campaign throughout the whole of Kenya to our communities and everyone who is involved. Yeah. I'm targeting the sports people. I just want people to play sports with environment in mind, and just knowing how to conserve the environment and being responsible adults in this sport, because sports is more about discipline. So right now I'm so focused on sports people because I know they are good ambassadors. They have a wider reach, and as long as I've got them in the program and they know what they have to do, I think with that they'll be greater ambassadors to the greater people of Kenya. So right now I've just started with the elimination of single-use plastic, and every club can join. It's not a must that you start big, or it's just by starting and using reusable water bottles, picking up litter after training, just being responsible, being disciplined, and everything else slowly as I continue to teach them. It may not be as much in Kenya right now, but when you look at studies, you see Africa will be the most, I think it's the most affected, or will be the most affected in terms of climate change. And even right now you can see flash floods and extreme heat conditions. It's not normal, and you see people in Africa or maybe in Kenya think it's normal. It's not normal for such things to happen. So for me, I just want for people to have that best conditions when they play rugby, not extreme heat conditions or extreme cold conditions, and they are not able to play at their optimum conditions. So it's already happening in other countries. It's already happening in Kenya. It's just that people have not had the education and understand it. But for me, I want them to understand this is what's going to happen. This is how it will change. This is how the temperatures will increase over time, and it's not normal. I want the people to know, and so that we can just come back to normal and have better conditions for those people who are coming, the future people, the children and those who are not yet born. Hi, Kevin Wekesa here, Kabras Sugar rugby player and Kenya Shujaa rugby player. You're watching RugbyKE. Subscribe.
It's no doubt Samuel Asati is one of the best talents Kenya has produced in the last decade or so.
Asati was in the first Chipu team to win the Battles Trophy back in 2019.
He is currently a co-captain on the Shujaa side and has not missed a leg since his debut back in 2023.
We asked Kenya rugby fanatics what makes Asati special from their own eyes.
And here's what they have to say.
In the ever-growing story of Kenyan rugby, certain players don't just play the game, they shape it. One such name is Samuel Asati, scrum half, spark plug, sevens warrior, KCB general. Small in stature but massive in heart. Where others see size, he sees space. Where others hesitate, he attacks. Quick hands, faster feet, a rugby brain always 2 steps ahead. Whether it's lighting up the 7 series or commanding the backline in Kenya Cup, Asati brings the same hunger, the same fire, every single game.
Samuel Asati is supernatural because he does wonderful things in the field.
You know, Asati is 300 in one. So Asati is Spartan. He's formidable. You can expect performance from him week in, week out, and he's always going to deliver. And his determination comes from his work ethic. I've been playing with him for a while now, from training and the effort he puts in the sessions, in his self preps and everything. He's a good guy. He's a good player. Yeah.
He's an amazing athlete, simply because of his consistency when it comes to the games on the field, because he's been consistent all through last year playing Kenya Cup and then joining Kenya Sevens. So his consistency is something to really look forward to.
Incredible. I mean, I've seen him grow from mid-grade rugby to KCB where he is right now. He's been playing for KCB and Kenya Sevens. He recently played for Kenya Sevens, I think, this season, and also played for Kenya Simbas before that. I do think he's one of the best halfbacks that you have in this country. Like, the guys have come through the ranks. He's been able to play under some really good guys like Akina Michael Wanjala, Akina Darwin at KCB. For Kenya, he's being trained by the best of the best, by Bling. I do think he's one of those guys who can quickly change the game for you. For me, halfbacks, it's obviously you're able to pick out your backs, you know. And I do feel he plays well for KCB. He's been an integral part for KCB, their run. I know probably he came to KCB in a period. He came to the senior team when they were Kabras had started now winning again. But I do think when KCB starts winning the Kenya Cups again, it will be one of the reasons will be because of him. And obviously for Kenya Sevens, for us to be a mainstay in the All-7 series, I do think he'll play a key role.
Samuel Asati is a phenomenal player, a diversified player, because he can play in 2 or 3 positions, and his always dependable, attitude is up there and always ready to learn.
In a game built for giants, Samuel Asati reminds us that greatness isn't measured in inches, it's measured in moments. And for Kenyan rugby, Asati is creating plenty of them.
From Cape Town to Kakamega,
Kabras Sugar head coach Carlos Katywa has clearly cemented his place as one of the sharpest minds in Kenyan rugby.
he had guided Kabras to the United Kenyan post-cup.
He sat down with him and spoke about coaching Kenya's best 15th club.
Here's what he had to say.
My name is Carlos Katywa. Spelling of Kondani is Qondani. Kabras head coach. I heard of Kabras in 2021, yes, via actually the current head coach of Simbas, Jerome Parvater. So Kabras were looking for an assistant coach, a forwards coach. The then chairman was Philip Jalango. They contacted me. We went through a series of interviews, and yeah, that's how I landed in Kenya. That same year, I was working with Jerome Muller. He was the backline coach. At the end of the season, we had won the season playing against Oilers that particular year. And in the following season, now there was a lot of transition happening in the club. That is when the chairman, Philip Jalango, had stepped down, and Silaba came into power. And then I think, I don't know in full details, but the following year I was offered a contract as the head coach of Kabras. Look, obviously every journey has its ups and downs, and when we started the journey, beginning of the season, when we took over, a few things had to be readjusted, a few things had to be put into place because of the transition. You know, a particular coach has his own philosophy and his own way of doing things. So I had to transition quite slowly and effectively, because I didn't want to really change the way the players were doing things radically. I needed to make sure that I slowly but inject my philosophy in the guys, so that at the end of the day, when we transition into doing some of the things that they are not used to, they will understand the personnel, who I am and what I want. Then everything can follow into perspective easily like that. So also being Kenya Cup champions for 2 years in a row, 3 years, and unbeaten 2. It's actually it's a nice feeling to have. It's a nice aura, if I can put it that way. Few people can say they can do that. So we are part of history, we're part of a legacy that no one can take that away from us. But having said that, I think for me, the journey has been very exciting, challenging, having its own problems, but it was not easy. And also I know from the point of view of the boys, they've been backing me 110%. They've had my back from day one. And I think we've created a family type of environment that we have at Kabras. So basically, you can come to understand that currently the state of rugby in Kenya is in its decline, mainly because of the economical issues and the finances behind assisting these players. Because I mean, currently rugby is a business. It's not just for fun and pleasure anymore. It's a business, and in business, everything has a positive and a negative. And I think one of the most negative side of things when it comes to Kenya, the guys practice really hard and work like professionals, but the other side of now player welfare, I think it's a very, very undermined and well neglected situation in Kenya currently in most areas, and these boys are not well looked after for the amount of hours and the amount of time they put in practice and training. And I also think there are a lot of aspects that can lead to these issues. I mean, I've always talked about there is no financial advice for these guys. Guys go to national teams, go to Kabras, and once they leave that space, guys do not know, after accumulating so much money, I mean, guys travel to different countries, like the under-20s went to Scotland and they received some lump of money, but what have they done with it? Have they looked into their future? Have they, also the mental side of things, these guys go through quite a lot, whether it's back home. Some of the guys I know in my setup, I've got guys who are looking after their parents, they're breadwinners at the age of 20, 22, and the guy is supposed to be a young and going through different various stages of life, but now he has to grow up quickly and become a man. And sometimes now when situations are too bad, guys cannot handle different situations. So there are quite a lot of aspects in terms of how our rugby is failing. And I mean, even our national team is currently going for qualifier year, there's a big gap there as well between, if you look at other foreign countries right now, they've had quite a few warm-up games, quite a few camps already, and we are yet to start. So there's quite a lot of challenge happening right now in Kenyan rugby, and I think as much as I know, the administrators are working their best to try and cut the gap, but it is what it is right now, and I think we can control what we can, and we just soldier on. Look, I think one of the most important aspect, I think, in my philosophy of coaching is to actually live the founder. I think more than anything also, what is important, legacy I would like to leave is that these players become good. Before you become a good player, become a good human being, So if I can get them to balance between being a good human being, the rugby part of things always comes easy, because those are the part of the 5 principles and values that we live in. So I would like to achieve, I would like to see us go to the World Cup. I would really love to see our boys sing the national anthem in the World Cup, play against one of the top 20 best sides in the world, And again, even if it takes another 20 years, I think we would like to be part and parcel of what history, or be part of Kenya rugby's history to have gone to the World Cup. So I would really like to achieve that as well. Okay, obviously, without a doubt, JK is a phenomenal. Tanga is one of the outstanding players. I mean, he never, every time he touches the ball, something is gonna come out. I think Wahinya is an exciting brain builder. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the country. The amount of strength, the ability to beat the players on one-on-one, yes, he has got a few things to work on. I think there's quite a few youngsters coming up. I've seen the young guys like Abu Khalib, a nice young prop flyer coming through. Sam from Monks, very, very, very high. I actually profile him as a really, really real future for flyer in this country, as long as he's well looked after. I think Andy Cole is a guy that the country needs to actually put him and make him a gold. He's a rare find. I think even where we come from, you hardly get a player like him. He's a definite monster, like Eben Yetzabeth. Look, I think my list can go on. Mike Mawala. I don't know if we've got a center like him in the country right now. Unfortunately, he's playing out of position for me in his club, but he's a phenomenal player. Look, I can go on. The Harlequin scrum half, it's a pity I don't know his name. Lucky, outstanding player, Sifuna, powerhouse. Look, there's quite a lot. I mean, no one can forget even the strength of George, I think Scubas was a phenomenal. He had a lot of good attributes in his play, very good player. So I can go on. So yeah, those are the few guys that are coming to mind right now. Okay, name is Carlos Katywa, head coach Kabras. You are watching RugbyKE.
That's all we have for this week. Subscribe and turn on the notification channel. Follow us on all our socials. So be your host, Fido Story, and I'm Matoka. Tupatane next week.